With the ETT project, Skogforsk has, together with the Swedish Transport Administration and the forestry sector, shown that larger trucks up to 74 to 90 tons can reduce their fuel consumption by 20%, benefiting both the environment and transport economics. Work is now continuing with ETT-aero, a sub-project initiated by Skogforsk and the University of Linköping, where timber trucks and chip vehicles have been studied in a wind tunnel. The results are very promising and could be used on trucks all over the world. Claes Löfroth describes how this wind deflector, running from the cab to the first stack, can cut fuel consumption by 3 to 4%. This part, he says, covering the middle stacks, also cuts fuel consumption by 3 to 4%. Fuel savings of this scale are extremely beneficial, of course, and not just for the environment. The investment costs amount to around 200,000 Swedish krona, says Claes, and points out that even taking into account the weight increase related to the lost payload of a couple of hundred kilograms, it's nevertheless to the haulier's advantage, since fuel consumption could be cut by up to 80,000 Swedish krona a year. The idea isn't a new one. Claes says that Scania, Volvo, all truck manufacturers have put a lot of work into designing an aerodynamic shape for the cabs and features on the truck, but not for an entire rig. Most vehicles are aerodynamically designed nowadays, but trucks are still square. The truck manufacturers have adapted the cabs, but manufacturers of vans and trailers haven't kept up. Johan Mortensson of Sjöland and Tiselius, experts in aerodynamics with experience from mainly the aircraft industry, says that part of the reason for that is that fuel has been too cheap, as well as conservatism and tradition. Of course, he says there's a lot to do even on large vehicles, perhaps particularly on large vehicles, considering their bigger engines and the much greater mileage they cover compared to cars over the course of a year. So fuel consumption can be reduced on the loaded trucks. In the case of timber trucks with their special shape, when they're being driven unloaded, the stakes can be lowered, a measure which Claes Löfroth says has in their tests led to a reduction in air resistance corresponding to 6% in fuel consumption. So wind deflection will probably become a must for the Swedish truck fleet, which every year transports 280 million tons of cargo, with carbon dioxide emissions of around 4.3 million tons. And Claes Löfroth is optimistic that things can be implemented rapidly, with a few major trailer manufacturers already on board helping out. Manufacturers such as Maskin and Truck from Eksjö, Parator, the trailer manufacturer, and ExTe, which makes bunks and other equipment. These manufacturers have designed certain features that the ETT-aero project group are testing. Implementing this knowledge need not take too long. Johan Mortensson says that in this sector things can move quite rapidly, adding that if you can show the economic benefits, and if the economic aspects are also environmentally appropriate, he says there's a good chance of getting this implemented quickly, and also feels that the hauliers are interested in these types of results.